Welcome to Drinks with Johnny here at the house. I'm joined today by Kenny and Zach. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Chilling.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course, man.
I don't know what to do. I usually do when all podcasts I've done. I've had a mic, so I don't know what to do.
I like to make it look a little different.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands the entire time I'm on
You
this.
just hold hands.
Well, it's actually to free it up for drinks, for your waters or whatever, your hi-fi hops, whatever it might be.
If we had like regular mics, we might spill our drinks on them.
Yeah, Sam over there. Sorry, thanks again for your guys' patience. We had a little refrigerator leak. At least I hope it's a refrigerator over there. And then Sam spilled on the computer he's got over there.
Well, in your other room, Zach spilled all over your floor too, so it's
God.
water mixing.
The producer just throws the guests under the under the bus.
That's what happened.
You're supposed to say like, I spilled water all over Zach as well. You're supposed to take it.
Yeah, you got nothing over there, man. You can't take you anyway. All right. Well, Zach Holmes, you're famed as Zackass
Yeah.
for doing some dumb shit with the fucking Zackass.
Yeah, I've done a lot.
Jackass
I've
guys.
done a lot of dumb shit. It's just been something I've been doing ever since I was a kid.
Wait. Why did you, since you were a kid? That wasn't even just like to.
Well,
Because I could understand it maybe a little bit better if you were like, it was a way to get your comedy off the ground or something like that. But you're saying that this is before you even thought you were going to be famous.
yeah, I mean, like, I've definitely been using it to get my comedy off the ground now. But before all that, when I was, I've been doing stuff ever since I was a little kid, like filming me and my friends do stupid stuff. So that's just been, and even like before YouTube was a thing. And then eventually YouTube became a thing, and then I had a couple viral videos like throughout school, and then then eventually I just sort of kept doing it for like a long time.
And then I guess, from my understanding, like the guys reached out to you after seeing you, or like Tony Hawk was following you or some shit.
Yeah. I had a bunch of I had just gotten out of jail, and I just got out of jail for weed in Indiana. And
that's a shitty.
Yeah,
it was such a ticky-tack way to go,
And I was in there for a month, and it was kind of it sucked.
Fucking month for weed?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awful.
And
How
then,
much weed?
there wasn't an actual amount of weed. It was in my blood.
What? And they gave you a month for that in Indiana?
Yeah.
You gotta go to jail.
Remind me not to go to fucking Indiana.
Yeah.
You gotta go to jail until this is out of your system.
Yeah, literally.
What the hell is that? I've never heard of such a harsh penalty for fucking.
It was stupid,
Goddamn.
dude. I didn't know. I was like, dude, when I got out of jail, I was like, I want to do like what I like to do for work, pretty much, and I like to make videos. So I started filming all the craziest things I could think of.
Right.
And then eventually, I had viral video after viral video, and I started like monetizing that. And then I ended up doing this MTV show for like a season. And then through all of that, I met Steve-O.
Okay.
And Steve, like, I made some viral stuff with Steve-O, and then then eventually they were like, oh, we're gonna make another Jackass movie. And they had been seeing all the stuff I've been doing, and they're like, well, he might work. He might work well with us. And then, next thing I know, I'm in front of Knoxville and Jermaine. They're like telling me we're gonna make the movie, and that I'm just filming stuff with people that like I've been watching ever since I was a kid. Like, it's insane.
I mean, like you said, you were doing it in high school and stuff. Obviously, you were a fan of Jackass, obviously, right? You didn't just come up with that on your own.
Oh yeah, I was a huge fan of Jackass. Like, I wasn't allowed to watch Jackass when I was a kid because my family is super religious. So I wasn't allowed to watch like almost anything.
Wait. Where I just want to paint the picture that where Zach grew up, he couldn't watch Jackass.
Yeah.
And he went to jail for a month for having weed in his blood. That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
You should just smoke it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to
You don't have to put it in your blood.
Oh, Oh, I didn't even realize you were
That's
shooting
so
it.
funny.
That's why you went away for a month.
oh
He's like
my
doing
God,
like
You're
weed.
shooting THC somehow.
No, dude, he was doing weed dialysis.
That sounds like a good time, actually.
Yeah, it's like, I don't actually smoke it because my lungs will hurt, so I go to the dialysis clinic.
Gotta keep them lungs clean.
Yeah, dude, that's my only like long COVID symptom. Is I had COVID last December.
Yeah.
And the only symptom I still struggle with is I can't take dabs. Like I still, it like literally like closes up my lungs to where I'm like it seems like I'm having like an asthma attack. Like I'll sit there and just be like.
I don't fuck with dabs. Explain to me what dabs are. I keep hearing about it, but like
Dabs. So you'll have like a glass rig.
I'm an old school smoker,
right? Like it's like in between a bubbler and a bong, like this glass rig. And then it started out with like you'd have nails. So it would like be like a titanium nail was like good at first. Then they came out with quartz nails, and now I think they're still made out of quartz, the best ones. But they have all these different kinds. You heat that up with a torch. You heat the nail up with a torch, and then you the dab's like a concentrate. It's like just concentrated THC. They make it like there's a few different ways. One, I don't know if they still make it a lot with butane by like just like taking a bunch of weed and blowing butane through it, and then the runoff is like the dab.
So what's the point? Is it stronger or is it just?
So it's stronger.
So wait, that's my problem though. These kids you guys are getting too crazy with this shit. It's already so fucking strong. Like I roll the fucking blunt that I got from the fucking dispensary, and I'm fucking high as shit.
So the only way I can take a dab at this point is you have a thermometer to measure the temperature. Like I would say most people that hit dabs don't measure the temperature of like the nail before they hit it. And when I started measuring the temperature, I realized because we just do it based off of time. Like you heat it up a lot, you heat it up like the same every time. And then you just wait like, I wait a minute and a half and then I take the dab. Well, I did that and then measured it, and it was like 600 degrees. Like 600 that you're hitting it at still, and you feel that. You like really feel that. And so I started.
I don't think it's COVID that fucks your lungs. I think it's just
COVID, bro.
So then, no, because my like when it comes to dabs, my lungs are particularly like pussy. Like I know so many people that just like they're hitting probably like 800 degree dabs and just fucking like hitting so much.
That's a lot of work too.
Is the dabs the thing that fucking Godfather posts all the time that he's smoking?
I think so. But what is hash? Isn't hash the old school dabs? Then wasn't that just concentrated?
Hash is something different because hash was like our parents' generation.
Yeah,
but you can. So hash is like you get by like washing. You literally like wash it, and like the leftover is like your hash, right? Well, if you make hash in an extremely cold environment, like it's like literally like to the point where you have like almost like fucking snow clothes on while you're doing it. Like they put a crazy air conditioner in a small room and get the temperature down really low, then it'll wash it. It's not like that bubble hash that's all brown. Then it looks almost like clear, where it's in a way it's like almost like it's almost like taking the actual crystals off like one by one. I don't think that's exactly what it is, but that's what it looks like. And yeah, dude, I took a couple dabs because I'd started taking dabs like 300 degrees, and that's fine. That's like it's fine, but you waste a little bit of your shit. I took 2 dabs back to back, this was like maybe a month ago. I did it like I did when I used to smoke dabs all the time. And I went to bed, I was like, I'm so high. Like I would want to go to the hospital if I didn't know that I was gonna be okay. Like I would. That's be like
one of those. I love when people talk about going to the hospital for weed. I think it's so fucking funny. People think they're gonna die. Like my wife thought she was gonna die one day.
My mom literally. We told the story the other day.
Yeah.
I go back and listen to the other episode. My mom went to the hospital the other day because she found a random cookie behind her microwave, and she just ate it, going, "Oh," she goes, "This tastes like shit," and she gave it the rest to her dog. She calls me going, "Oh my God, I'm hallucinating. It feels bad, and my dog's acting really weird." I took her to the hospital. The next day, after an overnight, we found out that she was just high.
Whose weed cookie was that?
So her
was
friend
the cookie
came.
packaged, or
Her
was it
friend
just like
came out.
behind the microwave?
Yeah,
That's the thing.
I'm not eating any cookies. That's
Thank you.
behind a fucking microwave.
It's not in a package. It's just a
What the
random.
fuck?
Of course,
It's like,
it's
oh, a cookie.
Thank you. That was my point to her.
I took the double dab. Felt like I was like, oh, this is why people that take dabs for like the first couple of times do go to the hospital, because they think they're dying. I go lay down because this is at night. This is like 11 o'clock at night. I had just come back from the Comedy Store, and I lay down, and when I close my eyes, I'm not joking, I literally see the universe. Like when I close my eyes, it looks like I'm just traveling through the universe, like I'm like in Star Wars or something.
That sounds like a rad
like
trip.
It's the most.
I'm kind of like, I gotta get into this dab and shit.
It was literally the most out of like even doing acid, doing mushrooms. It was like the most hallucinogenic thing I've experienced. Like, because
really? Off of weed.
Oh, it was off of weed. Because obviously, I mean, I've done.
It was just pure butane.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't a weed.
Yeah, I was just. It was wild.
That's a hell of a drug.
Because during
Huffing.
so
He was huffing butane for sure.
we were hitting dabs during like the lockdown portion of the pandemic, and we would have like some comics, like friends, like come over sometimes. And this, I won't mention the dude. I won't like throw the guy under the bus by name, but there was this comic that came over, and he'd come over a few times, and every time like, you want to dab, and he's like, oh no, I don't smoke that. I haven't been smoking that much weed. That shit's gonna fuck me up. No. And finally, like the third time he came over, he's like, yeah, I'll do it. He takes the dab, and he's like just coughing a lot, and then he goes like, at one point he's like, I need to get some air. So he goes, he stands up, walks over to our front door, and we have one of those like metal screen doors, those heavy, and he just sits down like half inside and half outside, opens the door, sits down, and then he's just like, I think it's like, this is more than the weed. Like, I think I need to, and he keeps saying he needs to go to the hospital, and he says it so many times, and I'm high too. So then I start to believe it, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, fuck, we're gonna have to take this dude to the hospital during like the height of like COVID. And I'm like, but it is probably just the weed. But I'm also not gonna have this guy die of a heart attack in my house, thinking, because we're just like, no, dude, it's the weed. And the next thing you know, he's dead. And then the thing that got me back, that like I literally snapped out of it, he goes, feel my pulse. I think I'm dying. Feel my pulse. And I was like, oh, that's the fucking weed, dude. Shut the fuck up. And then he dropped dead.
He died.
And that guy's dead now. So R.I.P.
He's dead.
But no, and then it took like 30 more minutes. Because I told him at that point, I'm like, I'm not taking you to the hospital. I promise you're fine. It's the weed. And then 30 more minutes, and then he like never. I don't even know. Last time I spoke to him, he hadn't smoked weed again since. Like I helped him quit weed.
Moral of the story there.
Yeah, dude. That's what we should do next time. Is if we do another podcast, I'll bring the dab rig and have you take a dab, and then you'll just be traveling through the.
I don't know if I want that on film. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not sure I want that on film.
Spinning onto the other side. Cheers to your 9 months sobriety, man.
Oh, thanks, dude.
How was that?
Thank you.
9 months sobriety?
Yeah, dude.
What led that on?
The babies do.
Yeah, dude, that's a baby. No, fucking, yeah, I just like I don't know, I just got to a really like shitty place, like with like, I was doing just a lot of like prescription stuff. Yeah, I was in Indiana. I was doing like a lot of prescriptions, like Xanax and opiates and stuff. And it just like wasn't good. Like I wasn't really able to do things to like my full potential, like at all. And I was just
oh shit.
Yeah, it just sucked.
No, that's not great.
Yeah.
I got a question about it, if you don't mind. So
Yeah.
I heard you on Steve-O's podcast talking about it, and I started thinking about it like, so I don't know how timeline came, but with the fame coming, was it kind of more of a party and more accessible, or was it more the aftermath of the high and a slight drop after things like cool off, or what was the?
So like I had been sober, like so I had been like I had a little different like stints of sobriety before Jackass, and then I did the whole movie completely sober. Oh, okay. And then I had been sober
How
for
long
like,
was that shoot?
I mean, I think it was like there was like a 6-month like window too in between where we had to stop because of COVID. Okay. And then we started again. So, I mean, it was like, I was sober for like a year and a half. And then like right when the movie came out, like, so I was sober for the whole movie. Then when it came out, I was like, okay, like I had just like sort of stopped, like, I don't know. I just got into this weird place, like after the movie was coming out, where I was like, I'm just gonna get high again. And then, one thing led to another. Then I did that for a few months, and then I was like, yeah, I can't keep doing this. And then, now I'm here.
Yeah, well, congrats either way.
Thanks, man.
It's never a fun path to having to go completely celibate, but, Yeah, kudos to you, man.
Thanks,
Good
dude.
stuff. Yeah. And Kenny,
What up?
we know you're not sober. You just. But let's talk about a little bit about what you do, managing over at the Rec Room Comedy here in Huntington.
Yeah, so I manage the Rec Room here in Huntington Beach, and I'm a comic. It's funny because that's why I know Sam from him coming to the club. Like
We've come quite a few times actually, and had met a lot of our guests on the show here coming through there. I think one of our first time I was there, I think we went and saw Jake the Snake.
Oh hell yeah!
Roberts
yeah.
there, and then I got to. He was like one of my first podcasts.
Oh, that's cool.
guests,
How was he? Like
he's awesome. He's an incredible dude. He's got great stories. I mean, he's been with all the legends. He's a Hall of Famer himself. You know, like, and he was, you know, he's sober now and like cleaned up his life and everything. But he doesn't pull any punches when he talks about his heyday. Yeah, with use and everything, and you know, telling stories about forgetting where he left the snake in the trunk. It's like, what the fuck were you on, bro? And the cold desert, like he killed one of them, and then had to like get another one to get out.
Oh my god!
I was such an idiot as a kid. I didn't realize it was multiple snakes until he said it then.
It's like the one snake.
Yeah,
They
Jake and the
only
snake.
called it Damien. That was always the name of the snake. So, but yeah.
That's my
So he was right, and we got other guests with Trevor Wallace, Lacey Chappelle, Chappelle Lacey rather. Sorry. Who else have we had? That's
I don't know. I poached from you.
Jeremiah.
Oh yeah. So I heard that's how you guys know each other. It's through Jeremiah, right?
That's basically that's where we met. It's twofold. It's like Jeremiah and Matt Edgar, who's a very funny comic, and he's Rachel Wolfson's boyfriend. Oh, yeah. He hit me up and he was like, hey, he's saying that Zach lives down the street and he's like looking for stage time and stuff. And he came through with Jeremiah. And it was funny because it was like, we just like met each other and we're just like, oh yeah, you're on the show. Like we barely even talked to each other. And then he asked me to do a show at American Comedy Company in San Diego. And then that's where like I just pitched him, like I was just asking him like how much time he has and stuff from starting comedy more recently. And then it's just, it's easier for him to book shows, but it's hard to fill all the time. And then it's like I have a smaller following, but it's like I can do whatever amount of time, but I'm not getting booked to go headline and do like an hour because the following is there, but it's not huge. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like it just works for both of us to like have it's like we can fill the time now, and between the two of us have a bunch of followers and all that stuff.
Zach, were you doing stand-up before that, or did that really kick up your stand-up?
I wasn't doing stand-up like before Jackass. Like just before before I was using drugs or Jackass. That's the real question. No. But yeah, I started doing stand-up like after Jackass. I'd always wanted to do it, and then like I was doing it like fucked up for a while, and then doing it sober. And, yeah.
Were you asking like Rachel and stuff since you guys for advice, or did you just do your own, or how did that?
Yeah, I mean, like for just like advice and stuff.
Well, yeah, just like your structure of your.
Yeah, I mean, like I had like a bunch of ideas for jokes, and like some of them, you know, were not good, and some of them were good. And I just sort of like, it's just been evolving since then. But yeah, I'll definitely take like direction from anyone that's been doing it longer than me. If they're like, oh, maybe you should try it like this. Like Kenny does that to me all the time. He'll be like, oh, you should try it like this, and I will. And it's usually better. Yeah.
Well, we have the exact, like literally the exact opposite like stories of like starting stand-up. Like I started doing stand-up here and like stumbled into the club, and so I'm just doing a bunch of stand-up, but I'm like just able to develop. You know what I mean? Like it's not, there's no, like I was doing, I mean, like when I met you, I was doing like 5-minute sets right after the host on like all the shows at the Rec Room. So it's like very low risk. You know what I mean? Like, and I learned how to do stand-up. I mean, I had to learn how to like, it's like when I tell all the comics, I have like a show that I do every week called Nice Bits on Thursdays, and it's a comedy. It's a comedy competition. And so I have the judge. Now I judge, and then most of the time I have a comic. Sometimes I have a porn star come do it. I haven't actually had any porn stars come down in a while. because no offense if any of them see this, but most of them are not good at it. Well, because I mean they're not super like used to being witty and being like being like quick. And when they judge, they're either one of two things: either extremely mean, because they're like, well, I don't want to be, that's part of it. Like, well, if the person's bad, I'm gonna be like, no, you suck, like really mean, or they're just really nice, like telling everybody they're doing great and stuff like that. So it would be like maybe like 1 out of 10 of them would be good, and it wasn't like selling the show. Because before I thought that would be a selling point to sell tickets, and it just wasn't. And so I mostly have comics judge it. But I'm constantly telling all the comedians, because they're all like open mic comedians that are entering this, is like you have to learn how to tell jokes to people that are on a date night. Most people that come to a comedy show, like you have groups that come here, obviously, but it's mostly date nights. Like most people are 2 people coming out, and it's like this is maybe one of the only 10 times in their life that they're gonna watch live stand-up. Like most, the average person, like not diehard comedy fans. And so you have to be able to tell, even if you're just saying like dick jokes, if you're saying heinous things, right? You have to be able to say those things, but communicate them to these people that are regular people on a date night, not the like creatures that hang out at open mics. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that goes from the comics to the patrons. It's just a different kind of person that's spending a lot of their time at open mics and like wants to hear some of the crazy, thoughts that never make it to the real stages from comics. And that's what I learned in the early times. Like when you were seeing me, as I was learning, I'll say this crazy shit at an open mic, and then I'll come to the rec room and say it, and I'll be like, they didn't really like it. It's like, sometimes it's just a little bit more explaining, or maybe not being quite as crazy, substituting out a couple of the words and shit like that. But and then he had to learn comedy. He has to learn comedy, like co-headlining, and usually being the main selling point of a show. Like, it's like if he gets booked on let's say we get booked on the same show in LA, it's typically the person who's putting on the show is trying to use Zach to sell the tickets on their show.
That's a lot of time to fill, right? Too?
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. And I don't know, it's just like, it's like, I'm definitely in like a weird position where it's like, people want to like, I'll get like different stuff because of Jackass and things like that, but it's not, I don't know, necessarily like, it wouldn't be that easy just to go headline places. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense though. I mean, shit.
But co-headlining, it's like, I feel like we're able to give a good show between the 2 of us to where people want, because that's the main thing is a lot of people can go do what we're doing, go book these dates the first time. Like what the real test will be like, let's look at like 2025, right? Are you going to see us putting up a bunch of dates in 2025? Or is it we went and kind of did one pass through of everything and everybody's kind of like, we're good. You know what I mean? Like booking it once is not that crazy of a feat. Like they'll give you a chance.
Well, how are you feeling about it now? Now that you're in the thick of it though, like how are you feeling about it?
The real tests are coming up because it's going to be very consistent starting at the end of December through like June. Like all the dates we have are at least once, if not, it's either for sure once a month, if not twice a month. And that's where we're gonna really see. Austin was supposed to be like the test, but it got fucked up. Yeah. Like Austin was one of the most frustrating but still fun experiences. Because
I heard you guys on a podcast talking a little bit, talking about Austin specifically, and you shared some crazy Uber story.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh my god.
This nutcase that was telling you a bunch of lines and shit, dude. Like fucking. He just had this guy looked at the time left on the Uber.
He's like, you guys got some time. He's like, you guys got like 15 minutes. I'll tell you guys a story. Yeah. And then we're like, oh my god. I was like, when I heard him say that, I was like, fuck, dude, we're so fucked. Like I thought we hit like don't talk to us on the app, dude.
And mind you, this happens to us.
You probably did. That's why you probably did, and that's why he's like, oh, I'm giving these guys a fucking story.
This is like 1 p.m. on a Friday when we woke up and found out that our show that we came to Texas for, like the main show that we came there for, that was going to pay us the most money and be our show, like our co-headlining show, was fucked. It got moved. The morning of, they moved it to Monday because between the promoter of the Vulcan and then the Vulcan staff, they didn't realize that our show started at 7:30 and then at 9 o'clock they had emo night starting. and they had a band and a DJ and all that. So there was going to be no. They needed to set all that up, do sound check, and nobody noticed till the morning of. So they canceled our show the morning of. And we had tickets sold. We were going to do well.
Yeah.
And ended up getting moved to Monday. We ended up selling 40 tickets on a Monday, which wasn't bad in and of itself. But that venue is too big for 40 people. So the show ended up just being like bleh. Like it was just like a lackluster. Like the people that were there had fun. We had fun performing, but it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't what it could be. So
we're like, trip you guys didn't know each other, and then you sat in a car and drove to.
What's that?
Yeah, we.
Oh no, that was Arizona. That was the first time we spent more than like 20 minutes together. Was driving to Arizona, staying in an Airbnb, doing a show, and then driving back. So it was.
Well, obviously that drive worked out.
Yeah.
No, it was chill. It was fine.
But
Kenny's really not that bad to hang around with.
Not like everyone says, right? Not like everyone hears about. You know?
So we find out the show's canceled. We already had plans to go to Terry Black's, which is like supposed to be like the end all be all of Texas barbecue. It was really good. We go.
I had that last time. I was just in Austin as well.
That was good.
We go to Terry Black's. It's hot as fuck. So we sit there and just eat and sweat the entire time. And we're both like literally visibly bummed out that our show's fucked. And then we get in the Uber with this dude who's like, I'm going to tell you this 20-minute story. And by the way, this is Bella or whatever. And he picks up a little Pomeranian that doesn't move. But it had been barking before we got in the car.
I don't know if it was real, dude.
He didn't hear it bark.
I don't think the dog was real.
And he holds up this dog, puts the dog down, and he was like, oh, 20 minutes till your destination? Well, I got a story for you. And then he proceeds to like, just because it's obviously a 20-minute story, but he's driving for Uber. A woman gets in his car. He looks at the woman and he's like, this woman looks like my ex-wife, but like my ex-wife when she was this person's age, like 22 or something like that. Like he looks like a young version of my ex-wife. And then the woman goes, do I remind you of someone? Don't I look like whatever the wife's name was? Don't I look like so-and-so? It's like, that's because I'm your daughter.
Yeah.
And
what?
Yeah.
That's not real. Really?
Yes. There's no way. I heard the whole story already. There's no way it's real.
And then he's like saying that she was like getting different Ubers all day trying to find him. And then she like, so she's like, yeah, I'm your daughter. Then he's like, well, what? And
do you remember Aunt Becky and Uncle Dave?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, yeah, I remember them. And he's like, well, you know how they went to MIT, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, well, they've actually been helping me hack all of yours. We've been hacking everything.
Yeah, they taught me how to hack.
When you guys told the story about the hacking, that's when I was like, okay, this is bullshit.
Yeah. So when he said that part, and he's like, yeah, so we've been hacking into all your electronics and watching you for years. It's like, well, why'd you have to do the Uber thing then? Like, why couldn't you just went to his house?
And then I'm very
maybe
like.
Maybe it was just for the
dramatic effect.
Yeah, dramatic effect.
Yeah.
And then our attitudes are completely different. Like Zach is literally like just visibly like, I want this guy to shut the fuck up. And then once he starts talking about like the hacking and stuff, I'm all in and and I fuck with him the rest of the time.
Let me record this. Put this out as a podcast.
We should have done. Yeah, we totally should have done that. Yeah. I'm all in and I'm fucking with him. So I'm like, wait. They were what were they hacking in? And he's like, well, my phone, my smart TV, they hacked into my Alexis. And I'm like, your Alexis, like Alexa? He's like, yeah, Alexis. And I'm like, wait a second. So that means
you hacked a fucking car, man, Alexis.
That's like that means they were like watching you go to the bath. They were watching you in the bathroom and stuff with your phone. And he was like, yeah, and I do some nasty things in that bathroom. That's what.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was so weird.
And then he just keeps going. He's talking about how like when the first time he saw his ex-wife after they left each other, he just told her, he was like, I was good for you because you're fat. You got fat. And then he's like, you remember? The daughter's like, you remember when you called mom fat? Well, she wasn't fat. She was pregnant with me. And it's like, even that doesn't make sense that's what the daughter's been holding on to is this one time that he called the mom fat.
Yeah, that is like why, I don't think.
How would she even know?
Yeah. Well, the mom told her.
Because that must be, the mom must be so mad about that.
So that's a credible story.
How does that work though? So I have a hard time pranking this guy because he would come at me tenfold. But I heard on Howie Mandel, his show about Steve-O almost
Yeah.
making you cry.
Yeah.
Do you live your whole life worried that you are being pranked?
Not my whole life. I mean,
Whoa. I didn't hear this.
yeah,
I'm looking
no.
on
So
screen
like,
now.
we weren't supposed to, when we started filming Jackass, we were filming it, but we weren't allowed to talk about it or let anyone know we were in it. Like especially the new cast.
Okay.
And they so you're supposed to not tell anyone, especially talk about it online. And they did like a soft announcement, like Knoxville did some announcement, like talking about some of the new people, but they didn't do like an official announcement. He just did it on like, it was like some GQ thing or something.
Okay.
And so that was going around and people knew about that, but I wasn't still allowed to say anything. And then Steve-O called like from Howie's podcast. I didn't know he was on the podcast. And he's like, hey man, like people know you're in the movie and stuff, like what's going on? And then like, and I was like, what, dude? I'm like, well, yeah, there's the article thing. He's like, no, people are saying you've been talking about it. Then he had Howie like pretend to be someone from Paramount. And like fucking they're pissed at me. And I'm like, and they're going to cut all my scenes out of the movie and all this shit. And I was like freaking the fuck out. I was like, dude, my life, like this is so fucked. And like,
People like, yeah, I'm just
yeah,
joking, man.
and then they're like, oh, we're just pranking you. And I was just like, oh my God, dude, my whole life just like flashed before my eyes.
That's funny.
And then I went on Howie's podcast, actually, and then I forgot to like get it approved to like go on the podcast, like through Paramount to promote the movie. And but Rachel was on the podcast with me and she got it approved, but I didn't. And then they had Knoxville come on and like fucking yell at me and like you guys aren't even supposed to be there. And like I freaked the fuck out and like walked out of Howie's podcast. And I'm just like, then he tried to call me to apologize and I didn't even answer the phone. And I like I haven't talked to Howie since.
Oh man.
Were you tight with Howie before though?
I mean we've filmed some stuff before that. But yeah, now I would talk to him now, but like I don't hate him or anything, but it's just like kind of like fuck you.
That's a good prank though.
Were you friends
Yeah.
with his son before? You mentioned something about that.
Yeah. I had filmed some stuff with his son, but yeah.
Well, Kenny, you mentioned on your the judges, and you've had porn stars as the judges for what's that called again on Thursdays?
Nice bits.
Nice bits, right? And I know from talking to Sam, you also have another gig that you do.
Yeah,
And that's probably where you brought the porn stars in, correct?
Yes, like not this year. Like at the beginning of this year, I produced porn, and I haven't that much. I actually just shot a scene a couple days ago, but that was like the first scene I shot since February. And it was just because somebody hit me up, so I'm not like actively shooting or really even needing to, because the Rec Room and comedy is going well enough to where I don't need to do it. But yeah, I've like shot porn for like 4 or 5 years. Mostly with Charles Dara, who's a long time porn
Got a
star.
mustache, you know
Yeah.
what he's
Oh, I'd probably recognize
He's
him. I'd recognize his wang.
he lives somewhat in the area, and we met training jiu-jitsu in like 2015, and then a couple years later he was looking for like a PA, and then it's just porn is a very small, like it's pretty small productions, most of it.
Okay.
And so it's like we just do all like when I do like all the I've done like basically all the jobs from, except for actually fucking on camera, from being an extra to being
Fluffer?
No fluffer.
Everybody's in every job.
I do everything.
Nothing that's actually sexual for me. But I've done like
Yeah.
PA, production manager, be an extra in porn, be a cuck in porn. So just be the guy, just be the husband that's in the background being like, why are you fucking my wife? That's the one that I still get. I get people taking screenshots off of Pornhub.
I'm gonna go look for this now.
People will take screenshots of me looking sad, and they'll comment.
You can use that as your promo for the comedy tour. There's a screenshot of you looking sad.
And that's why the reason that I get hired to do it when I do is because I originally got Charles. I thought was doing it as like as a prank, basically, like giving my name to a couple of guys that I had met that filmed some of this shit. He gave them my name. Is like, oh, you should hit him up and see if he wants to do it. They hit me up and I said no, and then they're like, well, why not? And I was like, well, because everything that I know, like literally this happened the day after Charles was like, I was filming this cuck scene and I made the cuck go down, like lay on their back and underneath them while he stood and fucked the girl doggy style. And he came on a cheeseburger and the cuck ate it.
Oh my God! What the fuck kind of porn is this?
And so when
Is this Jackass or porn?
well, but that's like the people that are super into
Zach's
this.
got it too. Zach's got it.
You can do that
The people that are super into this, it's like the humiliation. It's like and so that's the reason why I said no, because I was like,
cheeseburger. Dude.
I was like, no, dude, I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. And so then they asked me like, well, why won't you? Like, why won't you do it?
You have to ask that question.
No. That's why I told Charles. And then when they hit me up and they're like, and I said no, and they said why, I told them, and then they're like, oh, we won't have you. You can say no to anything you want. It was like, we'll book you for funny ones, for like when the script is just gonna be funny. And so that's what it is. That's what it is. In fact, one time they tried to ask me. It was like a lesbian scene. It was like basically what it was I was supposed to be a chick's husband, and then I come home and she's having like a lesbian affair, and then the whole scene is she lies to me and she goes, oh, I was waiting for you. This was a surprise. I knew you were coming home and this is to surprise you. And then the whole time I'm like, oh, okay, like, well, let me join in. And she's like, no, sit right there first. Just sit there. And then it's like waiting a couple minutes and then being like, okay, so I'm gonna jump in, and her be like, no, you're just, and then that's how the whole scene goes. And originally when they hit me up, they're like, and we want the girls to like take the dildos they use on each other and rub them on your face. And I was like, no, thank you. I was like, no touching. And I was like, they tried to sneak one in on me. They tried to sneak that one in on me. I was like, no touching.
No touching.
None of that. And so that's literally what all the scenes, it's just like, they hire me because
That sounds a lot better though than getting the jizz burger.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, who are the chicks? Were they hot?
I'm good at. I mean, they're porn stars, so I mean, they don't like. I guess they don't really let ugly chicks. But it's like I always say, like porn stars are the like most attractive chicks that are willing to do that. Like you know what I mean? That are willing to sign up for it. But the reason I get hired is because I'm not creepy. Like a lot of the cucks are like they're lifestyle cucks. Like that guy that was underneath.
Oh, he wants that.
The cheeseburger, they want to do. It's not just like they're like, fine, I'll eat the cum burger today. They're like, no, I'm down. Like they're like getting off in a way to this, and they like because like one of the production managers says, you know what I like about you? You never ask who you're working with. Like I just go like, okay, what day? Just tell me the date and time I'm supposed to be there, and I just show up. But a lot of the cucks they'll book them, and then what they do is they try to play it cool. They wait like an hour, and they go like, oh, by the way, who's the models for the scene? Because they like want to know who they're working with because they're like into it. And I'm not creepy. And because of that, like I'm more.
Yeah, they don't know.
I also have done all the jobs, so I'm really good at finding the camera. Because that's what you need to do is like they're fucking, and what I need to do is just get in frame. And like so, it's like if they're fucking here on this couch, then I'll come behind the couch and I know I'm in frame, and I'm like just bend down and be like, you guys. We can like stop and pretend this isn't happening. We'll just pretend. We'll go our separate ways. We'll pretend, and they'll be like, "Shut the fuck up. Go over there and sit down," or something. Like you know what I mean? And it's just.
What's the direction of ad libs with it?
What's that?
What's the direction for ad libs for that?
Oh, yeah, I could do whatever. Like one of the last ones that I did, the dude's fucking the chick, and he goes, "The balls. Pay attention to the ball." And I go, and I literally go, "The balls? I've never even thought of that." Like just stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just
full on lie.
It's like why? It's just say whatever. Some of the funniest ones I shot. It was so funny the first time we shot a sequel to it, and this was a fun one because we shoot it because they'll hire those I shot with different dudes, right? But I tell them like if you hire Charles and you're gonna have a cuck, hire me because me and him we'll have fun with it. And the one that was probably the funniest, we did two of them, was it's supposed to be a wife swap. So we like show up, I like show up with my wife, and then Charles is there, and he's like, yeah, my wife's getting ready, ready. And then they like start to like make out and stuff, and I'm sitting there the whole time being like, all right, like, hell yeah, so like when's my turn? Where's your wife? And he's like, well, she's really shy. She's like so shy, like I want you to be cool, but let me go get her. She's not gonna come out here on her own, let me go get her. And they bring her out, and it's a blow-up doll. And the whole scene is they pretend that this is a real woman, and then I'm like, this is a blow-up doll. And then the wife will be like, Kenny, don't be rude. Like,
Sounds like an SNL.
don't talk about her like that. And then it's just me holding a blow up doll, being sad, being like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, and so that's why I said that's also why I've only done like in like 2 or 3 years that I did those. Like, I only did like a dozen because they're not going to hire me that much because I don't do all the other stuff. It was just like, but it's good money. I mean, but half the time they want the scene to look affluent. And so it's funny the way their perception, like the producers and directors, their perception of what makes something affluent. And a lot of times it involves wine and charcuterie board. And so there's like a bunch of them where I'm just like drinking wine and eating charcuterie, being like, please stop fucking my wife. And I'm just like,
Sounds like a good time.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You're
It's
not an actual cook, and you're just watching two people fuck.
Yeah, it's not like
and having a glass of wine and charcuterie.
exactly.
It's like a Saturday with people fucking in front of you.
So when you say you've done all the other jobs, are you running camera, holding a boom, cleaning up the mess? Like, what are we talking about here?
Cleaning up the mess, yes, but no. Like, overall cleaning up the mess. But the nice thing about like it being like, you know, like I said, I started doing it like in like 2017, something like 2018, something like that. The nice thing about that is like the industry is very, I don't know if like, I'll use the term woke just because we all kind of know what that means. The industry is very, like, it's like very woke and very oriented towards everyone's boundaries. So a lot of times it'll be like they come or the fucking girl squirts or something, and it's like me being like, okay, afterwards me being like, all right, so you clean that up, and giving them the supplies, and then they clean it up, and then I'll do like if you're like the PA, you're doing like the final, like, we need the set to be like clean before we leave. You're doing like the final cleaning, but it's not like you have to go like fucking clean up the guy's like jizz off the ground. He cleans it up, and then you're doing like the bigger overall cleaning. So it's like, but it used to be.
That's a little better. I was like,
nice.
were you a jizz mopper?
Yeah,
you
no.
know?
It used to be.
I'm sure in the 80s it was like that, when it was like big productions
100%,
and all
like
that stuff.
80, like even like the 2000s and stuff. Like it's typically the men that have been around for a long time. They're like, oh, it sucks now. It used to be so. We used to be able to do so much stuff, and we used to do all. But now it's very much like for instance, like if I'm, depending on what job I'm doing, like I'll barely interact with the girl because it's like you don't want to say the wrong thing, or like if you just talk, like, not to be mean, but like the more you're talking to them or something, that just leaves more chance for this to all go awry. And it's like, I mean, there's an article that just came out like a couple weeks ago. There's like this big lawsuit that this dude is suing like a couple of the companies because a girl came out and said that he this girl came out and said this guy raped her. I actually bought my camera that I have. I bought from him because he like lost his job and he was like selling his shit. And then it just finally came out, like she admitted she was lying. Like one of the agents actually was like, hey, let's do this and then we'll split the money that they give us. Like I'll coach you through everything to say that happened, and then we'll just split the money.
Oh shit!
And like it finally came out, and like this guy's suing for like, you know, like $1 million or something like that because he lost like everything. He was like a guy that was probably making like 40 or 50 grand a month shooting porn, directing it, because he was shooting a ton of scenes. He had like a contract with the studio of like, we guarantee you this much money, and then if you shoot more scenes than this, we'll pay you this much more on top. And he like lost all of that because of a fake allegation. So it's like,
bullshit.
and that's like, you know, the more you are interacting and the more buddy that you're getting with everybody, the more chance of something like that happening. So it's very professional. Like,
Did you hear about that Taco Bell orgy?
No.
Oh, what is that?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Dude, it's like someone suing like Taco Bell because one of the employees went in and they were having like all the other employees were having like this orgy, like sex party, and like in the Taco Bell.
That's insane.
Yeah, like, can you imagine that?
You just mentioned his two favorite things, Taco Bell and porn.
And orgies.
Is that cum or is this a Supreme?
Doesn't matter anymore.
When I worked at Taco Bell.
You worked at Taco Bell?
I worked at Taco Bell once, yeah.
So you fantasized
he's the
about this?
snitch, dude.
No, yeah, I snitched. I was like, dude, they were cucking me. I wasn't allowed to be in it.
They started. It was like the chick that lays down on the sushi bun, and they just have like all the items on Zach, and they're just eating off of them.
Yeah. But like some people would fuck in the freezer.
Really?
How
Which
do
is
you do
insane.
that?
I don't know. How I imagine like I couldn't imagine that like in such cold, dude. No.
Yeah.
That's actually where like a good way to make money is like location.
Fucking in a Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, fucking in a Taco Bell
Great way to make
freezer.
money, Kenny's already on it.
If you have locations, like finding spots that can be used as a location to shoot.
Dude. Amazing. So I have a question on that too, but I'll start by saying, so several years ago, I'm doing what guys do on the internet, and I recognized the house, and it was one of those property things, and I was like, that house looks really familiar. Then the more and more I'm watching it, is this his house? No, it was actually, so when we were making our record for Hail to the King, we went up and stayed up in an LA area, up in the valley. And while we were there, we're there for like a couple months making a record and stuff. And it was that house that we were staying at. Yeah. And I was, because it was like an Airbnb house, that gets put out for that. And I was like, I wonder what, because a lot of times the Airbnbs, as you know, they want to know what you're renting the house for. So do you run into a lot of issues when you guys are trying to find locations like that?
Yeah, I mean, technically, like, no, none of it's like legal, but not legal. Like all of
It's like ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah,
don't ask for
all of
permission.
it. Airbnb wise, like you don't because what can happen? The way you're gonna run into trouble is like let's say we Airbnb'd your house, we Airbnb'd this house, and then next thing you know, like either you or someone brings it to your attention, like, is that your fucking house? And then you are like, what the fuck? Those people use my house to film porn, and so then you can sue the company. Like you can like go after the companies and everything. So there's like a bunch of shoot locations, like there's like if we go online right now, like there's like we'll run into a place where I'll be like, oh, that's this place, and most of them have like names I won't say on here, like a name that within the industry we're like, oh, this is fucking like Carrie's fuck place, you know what I mean? Like that's what they'll refer to that place as. But it's like I know all the fucking nooks and crannies of that place. So like, oh, they're using that room. This one's using this room and stuff. But you can like shoot out a location. Like there's one in particular that it's in so many. Like there's so many pornos that are shot at this like one place, and that's because the person has it set up as a location for this. Like that's what they.
Can you imagine that poor family that just goes to Airbnb and they just start, what am I stepping in?
Mostly with Airbnbs.
Well, that was the thing. We were in there before I saw this, and clearly there had been a little remodeling. There wasn't carpet in it anymore. So I felt better. I was like, at least they filmed after.
Well, and that's the thing is, it would be so rare that an Airbnb that you're in would be used for that because they're going to be so worried about that.
Yeah.
And that falls on, like, the way they do it, like, the producers are, like, third party.
It was like out in Tarzana, so I have a feeling like it was just, like, they knew it was, I don't think it was a surprise that they were using it for porn.
But there's location, or just, like, sometimes it calls for outdoor locations, and then you just have to, like, find a place that's, like I can tell you a couple of them off cameras, but it's, like, some random places that I've shot porn at, like, that are, like, just, like, where the whole day, like, no matter what, like I'm stressed out. Like some of the other people, they've done it so much that they're like, yeah, it's all gonna be fine. And I'm stressed the entire time. Like we're so close to, like, it's like, yeah, we're outside and it looks like we're in it looks like we're in the woods or something, but we're like right there is the regular street. Like if someone comes around that corner, like it's just, it's some of the shit gets stressful. Or if you have to shoot, like it'll be like, all right, we're gonna go outside. We'll be like in downtown LA somewhere. And we'll be like, okay, we're gonna go outside and shoot. Like, we just need to get like 30 seconds of blowjob out on the street. We'll find a quarter. And I'm like, and then
30 seconds of blowjob.
and then this particular fucking producer that I was working with, like push the it was like pushing the envelope. Like, we just need 30 seconds of blowjob. All right, cool. Then we get there and I'm like, okay, that's like 30 seconds. And then next thing you know, it's 5 minutes. It's like, we're like, okay, we're 5 minutes on this blowjob. I'm stressed out. Let's go back inside.
I got one more question that you kind of mentioned before to me, or I heard you talk about, that you can kind of get away with prostitution by just saying that you're filming a porn. Like, if you go online and say, hey, I'm filming a porn, is that right? Or do you know what I'm talking about?
It's
something
legal.
You said, I couldn't remember what it was.
It's legal. Like, it's way more illegal to be a prostitute than it is to film porn. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you fucking just print out some paperwork and and you like have that all set up already and someone busts it, it's like, oh, we're filming this. Like, I mean, and now there's OnlyFans. So it's like, you're like, oh, this is for my OnlyFans. This is like, and have the guy fucking fill out a piece of paper, like, you're pretty gold. But if you're just like,
how do you know about this loophole?
Because I was pretty legally filming porn, and then I know it's illegal for prostitution. Yeah. It's not just personal.
All right, sure, whatever. Sure, Kenny.
Yeah, it's not a personal.
Well, after all this talk, this is why we got you guys here. Now,
can you sign these papers?
Bring out the cheeseburger.
Yeah, where's the... Hey, dude, give me the wine and charcuterie, dude, and I'll watch it. I'll fucking watch it.
God damn it, dude. Not again.
But yeah, that's even why I don't do, like, I have jokes about doing porn, like I really, really, really should do them. I should at least do them and get them on taped of just like to put out as clips or anything.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't do them is because after the show, without fail, like multiple dudes come up to me, ask me a million questions about it. I just got tired of answering the questions, so then I don't do the jokes. But it's like, I tell them all the time, because it'll be dudes that'll be, like I said, they'll be that they're kind of creepy. They're kind of like the cucks I was talking about. Yeah. Like, do you know this girl? Do you know this girl?
Like, dude, how do I get into that?
And it's like, number one, most of the girls are gonna like most of the girls are, again, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but you're the reason why the day is harder. And so it's like, they're not like, I don't meet them and then like we're fast friends. There's a couple of them that were like it's like a coworker that you would like to work with more than another coworker. Right?
A job's a job.
But yeah, it's a job most of the time. You're like, oh, within 5 minutes, you hear her say something to like the makeup artist, and you're like, fuck, today's gonna suck. Today's gonna be a fucking bad day. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
You got divas? You got divas in the porn industry?
Yeah, you have divas, and then a lot of times there's a lot of legally young chicks that don't have a lot of like life experience. And they'll like they can make shit more. Again, that stuff I won't fucking say on camera, but I'll tell you guys afterwards. Some of that stuff. It's just like, because I want to throw them under. I don't want to throw them under the bus or anything like that. Yeah. But it's just like, yeah, it's just like a lot to deal with sometimes. The fun part about shooting porn is, to me, was like, well, I was the production manager or most of the time, so the scheduling, like I worked with the producer on the scheduling, and so we'd schedule everything around comedy, right? So we'd do it on the like times when I don't, like, it's like, oh, I can't do it that day because I got to be to the rec room at this time unless we shoot and get out of here by X time, you know what I mean? And then the crew, it's mostly fun with the crew, not with the porn star, because that's what everybody thinks. It's like, oh, you're having so much fun hanging out with this chick all day. It's like, no, it's mostly fun talking shit to the cameraman and fucking around with the PA and shit like that.
Did you ever get an erection on any of the sets?
No.
Okay.
Not once. That's like a very popular question.
I'm sure. We got another hour. We're just going to talk to you about this because you just said
no erections on set for me. No, like, I don't know. Like when they're like, oh, who's your favorite girl to work with? And I'm like, the one that shows up on time and
there's
is
only
chill.
one.
Yeah, the one that like they just need to show up on or show up, because there's so many mornings where it's like, all right, the call time is like 10 a.m. and I'm waiting. Like a lot of times you're shooting in the valley, and I'm waiting at 8 a.m. I'm like, hey, are we really doing this today? And it'll be like, yeah, we're good. And then it'll be like 30 minutes like on the way there. It's like, sorry, the girl fucking hit us up. She's not doing it today for like whatever reason. And then because it's porn and it has that like, you can't be like, what the fuck? You have to show up. Why aren't you showing up to work? They can literally just wake up and be like, look, I'm not in a good mental health state today. Like, I don't want to shoot today. And then you need to be like, yes, ma'am. And it's like, but then there's, again, like the cameraman, the PA, the producer, everybody's like, nobody's getting paid. Like, and so it's like, oh, and it's like we could have booked, and then it's like trying to book somebody last minute, but then they need to have their test. Sometimes it's just like they went and took their test was expired, and they went and took the test at the last second, and then the test didn't come back in time. So you're just like literally sitting around waiting on tests, and you're calling the testing company, and the testing company's like, yeah, the batch didn't go out, so this one's actually not going to come until tomorrow. And it's like, all right, we're all going to go home. Like, we can't shoot this. So it's just like that kind of stuff.
And when you say test, you're obviously like for STDs and stuff. Yeah. Because I mean, I know back in the day, I'd be listening to Howard Stern or something. He'd be having the porn stars on. He asked similar questions. He's like, yeah. And I remember one episode, I don't remember who the director was, but he called him out. He's like, dude, there's no condoms in that. And like at the time, you were supposed to legally have condoms in it. He's like, no, they're there. You just, it's trick camera work. I'm like, you can't fake a fucking condom. You can't fake that one out, dude. But he tried to pull that, and Howard's like, nah, dude, you guys are raw dogging.
Plausible deniability.
And then so now, fast forward, I know obviously they've moved past that, and now it's just strenuous testing, right?
Yeah, they do. They have to test like every 2 weeks, and then it's like this, scouts honor that they're not having any sex with somebody else that isn't testing every 2 weeks. But then they have different like breakouts and stuff. Like I mean, this could be, I could get the exact thing wrong, but I think there was like a form of like for a while there was like some form of gonorrhea that like had to shut the industry down to like get it clear, because it wasn't like it was like antibiotic resistant, and it was like they had to shut everything down for a couple of weeks just to like try to let it pass through. Wow. That's the same thing, like, that's like the scariest thing for the performers is like somebody came through with a positive HIV test, right? And then it's like they shut everything down and they have to do like fucking contact tracing to be like, okay, so this person had sex with this person, who they had sex with, and then who of those people who did they have sex with, and all that shit. So it's like, yeah, it's
at least they're trying. I mean, sounds like everyone's trying to do it the safest way possible, and at least they do shut it down. There's not the, a lot of times the overlying greed of any industry can take over that and be like, we still got to film this shit, Yeah,
and I would say like then there's the OnlyFans, all the OnlyFans shit. That's a weird thing, especially I think it's like kind of cleared up a little bit now, but like 2020, 2021, I mean, that was just, there were dudes that would like make an OnlyFans, like say like Zach makes an OnlyFans. Right, and then
go subscribe, everybody.
All he does is go get a test, and then go online and just start fucking hitting girls up on Twitter that you have OnlyFans and be like, hey, do you want to film some content? Do you want to film some content? Like just like Zach being like, I film content with fucking whoever. It's like that same exact thing. Like you want to, and they'll be like, yeah, and then you go over and they just set up a camera, like they have their phone in the corner of the room, and it's like, oh, you're using this as a dating service. Like a date, and it's not even dating. It's just going and fucking people. Like you're using this as a service to like set your phone up in the like, because it's like it's not like real camera work. Some of them do that, like make enough money to hire somebody to do the camera work. But it's just like, the dudes are using it as like an escort service for free.
Wow. You seem to know a lot of loopholes around the escort service.
No.
It's starting to add up here.
I was trying to, that was just the wrong term to use, because it's still not, those dudes aren't paying for anything.
No, of course.
They're just like, they'll be like, I'm male talent, and it's like they've never shot like a real scene. That's a funny thing to see is dudes fail on set.
Oh,
it's funny.
It's funny to me. I mean, that's another thing.
You got a blooper reel on your camera?
They just don't come, or like
fail. Like they can't get hard. They can't get hard.
They can't get hard.
Like I've seen that like 2 times, and it's like it's also another thing that's like that's the same as the girl not showing up on time. That was like both of those times. We were able to get another male talent, and they were able to step in, so it wasn't like a thing. But if they couldn't, I mean, we could have a day.
They can't just like take a Viagra on hand or something like that.
They already did, and it's like, I mean, they're taking them every day. They're fucking shooting.
Doesn't do anything.
Most of the male talent, especially if they're new or good or both, they're shooting like they can shoot every day. They can shoot like 4 or 5 days a week if they schedule it all out. It's more of like the new ones. A lot of the new ones. And if they're not good, there's more sporadic work. But the good ones are working a lot. And there was a dude who they were like they just wanted to, like, the company was like, we want to try this guy out, and he like barely got hard. then he's like losing it, and I'm like filming. And I'm filming POV, like so. I have the camera. I have the camera over his.
To
head.
be fair, I couldn't get hard if you were right over.
The second guy that I'm switching between two stories, but the second guy that couldn't get hard, that was his whole thing. Is he was like, it was literally his first scene. He was like trying to come into the industry. He was like a friend of a friend, and he was literally like, "Whoa, I didn't know somebody was gonna be standing over my shoulder, like breathing on my neck."
It's the gig, right?
But the first guy, he's like struggling, like keeps losing it, and then he goes he's like, "I'm gonna go. Let me go in the bathroom and see if I can like get it up." He goes in the bathroom and then he comes out and he's like, "What's the Wi-Fi? My phone's not connecting to the internet," because he's trying to watch some porn and it's too slow, which is hilarious because like.
He's literally in a porn.
So
You're actually about to live
and
That's wild.
And so then I don't know what the Wi-Fi is, but I had been there before, so my computer was already connected to the Wi-Fi.
So you gave him your
So then
laptop.
I give him my laptop, and I'm like, dude, and I'm like frustrated of like, dude, we gotta get this going. So I like, here, take my laptop, look it up, whatever you want, I don't care. He goes in there, but then doesn't clear the history or anything.
Nice.
So he ends up failing, like completely like can't do it. And then I can't. And as soon as he leaves, I go straight to the computer.
I know you did.
And I was like, what was he looking at? And it was all fucking the anime porn.
Really?
What the fuck?
And so I'm like, oh, hentai. Yeah, it was all hentai. Like he would like fucking 7 hentai tabs
He
open.
probably saw like real.
Like if
Yeah,
they're
shit happening
failing
for the first time.
if they're failing and you're behind them, are you like giving them like a pep talk? Just like,
You got it, dude. You got it. You got it. You got it, buddy.
I would get so mad. No,
I should be like just looking,
like,
whispering like, hurry the fuck up. Hurry up.
Get that fucker up. Get that fucker
you're
up.
doing it wrong.
That one's
That's amazing.
that one. Yeah, that's our and this one I didn't have to deal with a lot of times either. But it's like if you're waiting for the dude to come.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, and sometimes it would be like the longest it ever took was a time where we were running late on the shoot, and it was a Thursday night, and I needed to get to the rec room for a show. This was like before the pandemic and everything, and I needed to get to the rec room for a show. So I'm telling him like all day, I'm like, I have to leave here at fucking like it was like
You better come on time.
4 o'clock. And we're already past.
Stressful.
We're already past 4 o'clock, and we have like 5 more minutes left. And I'm like, look, dude, I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I would normally stay and help you clean everything up, like pack up all the equipment. But I was like, I have to leave because we're going over on time. So as soon as you come, I was holding boom. And I'm like, I'm gonna put the boom down and I'm fucking gone. I gotta get to my car. We were shooting in Venice, and so
At 4 o'clock.
and yeah, I had to get to the rec room. I think I did get there by like 7 because the show was like at 8. But it was like I give myself time because I know shit like this happens.
Right.
But it was, I think by this time it was literally pushing 5. Like it was pushing 5 o'clock. And so I'm holding the boom, and it's just, of course, it's like it's just like 4, it's like a chick, the dude, and then like three of us standing in this like small room in Venice. And then usually it's just like, oh yeah. Oh, like just like trying, and the girl, for the girl for like 5 straight minutes, the girl's just like, yeah, daddy, give me that cum. Yeah, daddy, give me that cum. And then at one point he's like, stop talking. Stop talking. He's like, I'll tell you when to talk. I'll tell you when to talk. And then like when he was getting close, finally he was like, okay, talk. And she's like, yeah, daddy, give me that. And it's like he couldn't do it because she wouldn't stop talking.
Oh man.
But it's like, yeah, it's like
That's fucking hilarious.
that's all the stuff
But
that's
you,
like.
I mean, I noticed that from, again, I'll be very candid about it. Like, I now have an Oculus, so I've gone up to VR porn.
Nice.
Is where I live now, and you can tell with VR porn where the edits are.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you can see like when like a moment you're talking about where it's just taking forever. And
I shot VR porn once, and the funniest thing about VR porn is like they're not allowed. The dudes are not supposed to breathe.
oh yeah.
They have to breathe, but it's like they have
because
to like
it'll pick up the audio.
yeah, they have to like not breathe and fuck is like they have to and not move.
Oh,
too
because
much.
it moves your face?
Yeah, because it moves. Well, just because the audio, the breath on the audio, and then just like literally like chest contractions if they're too much. Like you're gonna pick that up because like pick that up on like the 360 or 180 whatever it is cams.
Give you motion sicknesses from.
Yeah, I never experienced the fucking VR porn. I don't know. I feel like
I had an Oculus and that was the only thing I used it for.
Yeah, same.
But like it was so weird though for me because like I would like look down and it's like I'm a buff dude. I was like, dude, like, this is what it's like.
It's supposed to be fantasy. It's supposed to be fantasy, man.
Zach's coming because of that, not because of himself.
He's like, finally, dude. I'm looking in the mirror on the side of the head. Dude, fuck yeah, dude.
You just gotta think of it as your avatar. And you're just in there, That's fucking funny, man. Well, I don't know which one of you has done crazier stunts now.
Hey, I got a question. Rachel mentioned on that Howie thing about how it was kind of an off that all of her, something about people getting hurt. Are there ones that people get hurt is there rules that like, hey, we can't show that that's too much?
I mean, I don't think so. Not really. I mean, like, I feel
What are you doing in your
like,
pocket there?
oh, it's my key. I don't know why it was touched. Dude, someone commented on my podcast.
No, but it's because I'll admit it. Like
Yeah.
you can see right through my shirt sometimes. I know I'm on camera. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna look like fucking a weirdo with my.
No,
belly
someone
hanging out or
commented on
whatever.
my podcast, like, what is Zach playing with in his pocket? And I was just like, dude.
My biddy.
His dick goes
Yeah,
all
I'm
the way up
just
to his
playing with my nip. I'm just like playing with my nipple.
There's actually
We were all
Yeah.
talking about the porn. He's
Yeah.
just over here.
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah, there we go. Like, fucking,
in the pocket. There's no shirt.
yeah.
Just
There's
nipple.
nothing in there.
I didn't mean to call you out.
Yeah,
on
no,
that.
it's
I
all
had to
good.
ask. I mean, someone sitting
No.
there just doing that
Yeah.
the whole time.
Oh my god. So yeah, I mean, I don't think like it just depends what it is. I mean, like they can't like show someone like we never had like a moment where someone got like super like fucked up where like they weren't gonna live or anything. You know? But like I mean,
That's
you
the
couldn't.
limit, though.
Yeah, I mean, like you couldn't show that probably. I mean, and like with Jackass, there isn't like extreme like gory like injuries or anything.
Like your leg. Oh,
Yeah, like that was fucked up. I mean, like, but you see, dude, it's crazy. Like the things you see on Instagram nowadays. Like, dude, like just in scrolling on YouTube Shorts, you'll just see like I'll randomly just see people breaking their bones or like like when I broke my leg, it was fucked, dude. It was like I was trying to skate and I was trying to do this roll and grind, which I shouldn't have been doing. And then I just fell and I snapped my leg in half, like completely.
Fuck.
I want to
And,
send
like-
it to you, John. Like
It's like fully on video, like snapping in half, and then it's just like it's fucked. It fully.
Was this in the movie?
No, this is just like me filming at a skate park.
I was like, this is just for
Yeah.
fun.
I was like, 'cause
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I saw the Jackass movie. I don't
Yeah.
remember seeing that.
Dude, and I like start freaking out, like I almost start crying. And then I remembered someone told me that if you, yeah, dude, literally. No, but then I remembered someone telling me if you freak out, like when you break a bone, it's so much worse for you, just like the pain wise. Oh. So I just got really calm and I was like, can someone call 911, please?
Pulled out a bubble
Yeah.
pipe and he was like, oh.
I was like, and then I was like, can someone call 911, please?
That must have been awesome. to see.
Retrieve me my ambulance.
Retrieve the ambulance.
is that the most pain you've ever been in?
That was definitely one of the most painful things. Like third degree burns are definitely worse, I think. I mean, like that, I don't know. Overall, like, cause the leg, like once you go into the hospital, they'll fucking fix it, you know, that you're not like feeling, but like burns just last so long, you know, and that sucks.
Sick, bro.
How many times have you gotten burned?
I've gotten burned, at least 4 times. Like, where one time, because I put all these firecrackers on my body.
I saw that.
Yeah, that one, and then that one. What sucked about that one was like the burns, like as they're healing. Like if I wore a shirt, like they would keep accidentally like healing to the like, because, and then I would like fucking have to pull my shirt off and
what's up with
rip
the
it back
pocket
open.
That's what's up with the pot.
Yeah, yeah, it's like it still keeps trying to connect, you know. Like, but yeah, no, that kind of shit sucks. Burns are bad, but breaking the leg was probably one of the worst like instant pain things I've had.
I did see another one where you were hanging out with Steve-O and you got you went into the cactuses.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
looked pretty fucked.
That was really fucked. So, yeah, because I ended up having cacti needles in me for like 3.5 months.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, because they technically, like, if I would have like had insurance or something, maybe like they could have went and got every needle. But it's like that's like a whole thing. Like you go if someone has a bunch of cacti needles in them and they go to the ER, like normally they'll just be like, yeah, oh, they won't even really try to get them all out unless it's like they're like super big needles or something. But they'll just give you antibiotics and your body will naturally like pull them out.
That's interesting. I would have never thought that.
But yeah, so it's
You try just going like.
yeah, I wish, dude. I wish that would have worked. We tried everything to get those needles out. Like there was like all these things like, oh, you just used like people have commented on the video like just take some duct tape and like do this and pull it up. I'm like, no, that didn't work at all. Like we had someone come over and like give me like do this like body waxing thing, like really like crazy wax to try to pull them out. They didn't work. Most of them are just really stuck in there.
Did you try eating a cum cheeseburger?
No. I don't think that would have worked at all.
You never know, dude. Next time you gotta try the
It's
cheeseburger.
like, oh, dude, Zach's stuck in the
whose juice it
cactus.
is.
Give him the burger.
So you're into skate. Do you know Darby Allen at all?
I know of him. I never met him.
So the first time we had Darby on, we didn't know who he was, and he wanted to come and just do all these pranks and like
All
who's
these
this guy?
stunts. All these stunts
Yeah.
rather. They had like he really likes trivia games too, so we
Yeah.
made up a trivia game. The ultimate loser had to get pepper sprayed,
Oh, dude.
whisked, tased, like all this
Yeah.
shit. That was
Cum
just like,
cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Now it's like a tradition. Anytime he's on the show, we have to do some kind of stupid stunts.
Hell yeah.
And I never partake. I'm always the host. I'm like, hey, that ain't for me, man.
Yeah.
You guys have fun though.
That's like me. That's like some people. Like there's some people comment sometimes on the shit that we do together. They'll be like, "You gotta get Kenny to do a stunt," and I'm like, "No, dude. Like I'm not doing it. I won't do anything that'll like. I don't even like we talk. I don't even want to. There's some things we talk about doing where like I do something to him, and it's like, I guess if the camera's rolling, like I can do it for that, but I can't like. I'm not just like, yeah, I'll just kick you in the dick, dude. No problem.
Or are you kind of over it unless it's like for Jackass now? Or are you still wanting to do stunts and stuff like that?
I'm not really wanting to do like stunt stuff unless if they do another Jackass movie, then yeah. Or like there's a cool opportunity for me to do something, I would be down. Or
this cheeseburger.
yeah, or the cheeseburger. No. Yeah, I don't know. It just has to be like worth it, like the risk and reward, for it. Because it's like I don't know. I'm more into like just doing just more comedy based stuff, like stand up type stuff, getting into regular acting and like
Silly songs.
Like I don't know, just trying to do.
What silly songs?
Oh, I make silly songs, like parody songs and
Oh,
stuff.
killer.
He has like a fucking, basically a character at this point, Hog Johnson.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling
name.
it. But yeah, I just like I'll parody songs. I made some original stuff too. I'm also like part of this this group called Bad Circus where we just make like funny like original songs. And yeah.
What do you play? Do you play an
Oh,
instrument?
I just sing.
You sing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I just sing.
Do you have enough? Are you putting them out as like an album or what? Are
I
you doing
have
with
like
it?
some of the stuff on Spotify right now. I haven't like we are making like an EP for we're making like a country pop EP right now. Or like sort of like country rock type stuff for Bad Circus right now. And then all the I am gonna make a Hog Johnson EP eventually with like original stuff and not just parody songs. But I've just been releasing a lot of the parody stuff right now.
Do you fancy yourself a good singer or?
I mean, I don't think I'm like a good singer. I think it's passable. You know, like it's more like because there's a lot of people that make that'll make like song stuff online or like funny songs and like some of them are okay. So I don't know. I really like writing silly lyrics and like just making stuff that's catchy. So, but I think it's like passable.
Awesome. I'm a little bummed that I didn't know about that before you came here. So I'd definitely like to hear a little bit more about that and pick your brain on that.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of parody and silly, funny. I like funny in everything. So naturally I like funny in music sometimes too.
Yeah.
And Tenacious D is amazing. Like, how are you not gonna
Tenacious
love
D is
that?
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucked around like during the pandemic making short little fucking, like I'd be like 3 or 4 different little song things. But it's like and then I thought about like doing it more and more, but I would need to like know more. Like I'm not musically inclined outside of that, like outside of just some stupid lyrics. But then he does it like good job from like top to bottom of the shit, and he sounds way better. I had some song that I did called Pickle Tits. And it's literally, to be honest with you, I'm so bad at it that it's like if we played that, I can't even sing along with it because I don't ever. I'm saying it and then I don't remember it. Like I don't. It's just like me just being. It's
You
like,
need to take some time off those dabs, bro.
No, it's not dab. It's not dab related. It's just more of like it's not like comedy. Like comedy, I can say something and then it's like, oh, this is what I said, and then I just don't have much musical inclination. I feel like.
Yeah, man. Some of those stuff is so much fun. Like we've had Sticks from Steel Panther, good friends with those guys. Like I love how they like pick 80s heavy metal glam rock.
Yeah.
And just sing about this ridiculous shit over it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Well, guys, I know you guys got more stuff to do while you're around here, so I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for the time. It was an absolute pleasure getting to know more about the Jizz Burger. And pleasure meeting you guys, meeting you, Zach. I've known Kenny for a little bit.
No, it was great, dude. Thanks for having us. This was fun.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, of course. And you guys are in the middle of your tour. You got dates you want to promote right here?
Yeah.
Just hit up my website, heykennyitskenny.com. We have Tulsa coming up at the end of the month. We're doing and then through the first 6 months of next year, we're doing Little Rock, Philly, DC, Boston, Dallas, Austin, and Arizona. That's what we have so far. So we're trying to go everywhere that will book us and pay us to do comedy.
Awesome. Everyone go check that out. Look at more from these two guys and the Rec Room if you're locally in Orange County.
Yeah, and check out my podcast, Maximum Zach.
Oh yeah, that's right, your podcast. Yeah. How long have you been doing that one now?
It's been like I think we're on like episode like 13 or something like that right now.
Okay,
so it's like weekly, Yeah,
it's weekly. Everyone can, and it's on all.
Yeah, it's on all platforms. But yeah, the video version's on YouTube, and then
And your social handles, why don't we give a shout out on those too?
Yeah, I'm just Zackass on Instagram, ZACKASS, Hog Johnson 911 on TikTok.
I love that one, Hog Johnson.
And it's Hog HAWG.
Oh, sick.
Oh.
You can find me at Hey Kenny It's Kenny on Instagram, and like I said, my website, heykennyitskenny.com. I have a podcast called Hey Kenny It's Kenny, but I am the lower of the totem pole on all these podcasts. It's like just getting it off the ground, kind of. So listen to it and comment and shit.
Yeah. Everyone go like and subscribe everywhere to these guys. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you're doing that right here too. And I guess that's it. So as always, till next time, cheers.